She tried to physically block my 11-year-old daughter. At my own wedding. Not once. Not twice. 3 times. All because, in her eyes, my daughter didn't belong. What she didn't realize. That moment was the beginning of the end. Because if she wanted to erase my child from the family, I was more than ready to erase her instead. I was 14 when I had my daughter, Lily. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Too young. Too reckless. Too soon. And trust me, I've heard it all before. Whispers in grocery store aisles, judgment in teachers' voices, the way people look at you like you've already failed at life before it's even started. But here's the thing no one tells you. When I held Lily for the first time, none of that mattered. She wasn't a mistake. She was my reason. And from that moment on, it was always me and her against the world. Her biological father? He disappeared before she could even say her first word. No calls. No birthdays. No, I'm sorry. Just gone. So, I became everything.
Mom, Dad,
Protector. Provider. And for years, it was just us. Until I met James. James came into our lives when Lily was 9. And I'll be honest, I was careful. I had built this little world for us, fragile but safe, and the last thing I wanted was someone walking in and breaking it. But James? He didn't try to replace anything. He didn't force anything. He just showed up.
consistently.
Quietly. Powerfully. He'd help Lily with homework. Sit through her endless stories about school drama. Laugh at her terrible jokes like they were the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And Lily, she lit up around him. I remember one night, I overheard her talking to her friend on the phone. She said, "He's not my real dad, but I think I got lucky anyway." That's when I knew. This wasn't temporary. This was family. A year later, we got engaged. And for the first time in a long time, things felt stable.
Solid.
Like maybe, just maybe, I had built something real. But there was one problem. James' mother. From the beginning, she had this energy. You know the kind. The tight smiles. The backhanded compliments. The way her eyes would linger just a second too long when she looked at Lily. At first, it was subtle. Oh, she's adorable. She must look like her father.
Or,
It must have been difficult having a child so young.
always said sweetly.
Always with a smile. But underneath, judgment. Cold and sharp. I ignored it. For Lily's sake. For James' sake. For the sake of peace. But then, the wedding planning started. And that's when everything changed. It started with small comments. Are you sure you want her involved so much? Wouldn't it be more traditional without distractions? Distractions. That's what she called my daughter. I remember gripping the edge of the kitchen counter, so hard my knuckles turned white, forcing myself not to react. James would shut it down every time.
Mom, stop.
Lily is part of this family. But she didn't stop. She just got bolder. Until one night she said it. No sugarcoating. No fake smile. Just pure, unapologetic cruelty. We were sitting in the living room, going over wedding details. Out of nowhere, she put her glass down and said, "I'm not paying for this wedding if that girl is there." Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. James blinked.
What?
She didn't even hesitate. She's not your child. She has no place in this family. And I will not support something that pretends otherwise. I swear my heart actually stuttered. For a second, I couldn't even process what I had just heard. Not your child. No place in this family. About an 11-year-old girl. My girl. I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly against the floor. Excuse me? My voice was shaking, but not from fear. From anger. Pure, burning anger. But before I could say more, James spoke. And I will never forget the look on his face. Disappointment. Not hesitation. Not confusion. Disappointment. Then don't pay for it, he said flatly. You could see it hit her. She wasn't expecting that. She thought he'd bend. That he'd choose her. But he didn't. She tried to backtrack. James, honey, I'm just saying what's best for you. No, he cut in. You're saying what's convenient for you. Her face hardened. And just like that, the mask dropped. Well, fine, she snapped. But don't expect me to play grandmother to someone who isn't even yours. That was it. That was the moment something inside me shifted. Because it wasn't just about me anymore. It wasn't even about the wedding. It was about Lily. And I knew right then, this woman would never accept her. James told her to leave. And she did. But not before throwing one last look at me.
Cold.
Sharp. Almost warning. I should have known then. She wasn't done. Not even close. The weeks leading up to the wedding felt tense. Not loud. Not explosive. Just quiet tension. Like the air before a storm. James and I tried to focus on the good, finalizing details, picking flowers, watching Lily practice her role as flower girl over and over again in the living room. She took it so seriously. Every step measured. Every petal placed carefully like it meant something bigger than just a wedding. And maybe it did. Because to her, this wasn't just about me getting married. This was about becoming a real family. Official.
Permanent.
Do I look okay? She asked me the night before the wedding, standing in her little dress, hands nervously smoothing the fabric. I smiled, kneeling in front of her. You look perfect. She hesitated. Do you think Grandma will be nice tomorrow?
Grandma.
The word hit me harder than anything else. Because despite everything, Lily still wanted her approval. Still hoped. Still believed people could be better than they were. I tucked a piece of her hair behind her ear. Tomorrow isn't about her, I said softly. It's about us. She nodded, but I could see it. That tiny flicker of doubt. And God. I wish I had trusted my instincts more. The wedding day came. And for a moment, it was everything I had ever hoped for. Soft music. Sunlight pouring through the windows. Guests smiling, laughing, filling the room with warmth. And Lily, she looked like a little angel. White dress. Tiny flowers in her hair. That nervous, excited energy practically glowing off her. James stood at the altar, eyes already locked on us before the ceremony even began. Everything felt right. Perfect. Until it wasn't. Lily took her first step down the aisle. 1 petal. 2 petals. 3. And then suddenly, she stopped. At first, I thought maybe she forgot something. But then I saw it. Her body had gone stiff. Her hands froze mid-motion. And her eyes, they were locked on something ahead.
Someone.
James' mother. Standing in the aisle. Blocking her path. For a second, my brain refused to process what I was seeing. This wasn't real. There's no way someone would actually do this. Not here. Not now. Not to a child. But she did. She stood there, arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line like she had every right to be there. Like she was correcting a mistake. The music faltered. Guests started murmuring. And Lily, she just stood there. Frozen.
Confused.
Humiliated. Something inside me snapped. Before I could even move, one of the groomsmen stepped forward. Ma'am, you need to sit down, he said firmly. She didn't budge. This isn't appropriate. She shouldn't be here, Maya Miles said, loud enough for people nearby to hear. The words cut through the room like glass. Lily's face crumpled slightly. Not fully crying. Just breaking. James moved.
Fast.
He stepped down from the altar, his expression darker than I had ever seen it. Mom, he said low and controlled. Move. She looked at him like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. I'm trying to fix this.
No, he snapped.
You're ruining it. That did it. The groomsman gently but firmly guided her out of the aisle, ignoring her protests. And just like that, the moment continued. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Lily kept walking. Slowly at first. Then steadier. Petal after petal. Like she was trying to pretend nothing had happened. Like she was holding herself together purely on willpower. When she reached the front, she didn't look at anyone. Not me. Not James. She just went to her spot and stood there quietly. Too quietly. I wanted to run to her. To hold her. To tell her none of that was okay. But the music kept playing. The ceremony had to go on. So I swallowed it, pushed it down, and walked down that aisle with a smile that felt like it was cracking my face in half. The ceremony resumed. And for a while, it was okay. We said our vows. We exchanged rings. We smiled for the guests. But in the back of my mind, I was waiting. Because I knew people like her don't stop. They escalate. And she did. Later, during a quiet moment when guests were settling, I saw her again. Hovering. Watching. That same tight expression on her face. Lily had just stepped away to grab something from the side table. Alone. And that's when my MIL moved. She intercepted her. I couldn't hear everything at first, but I saw enough. The way she leaned down slightly. The way Lily's shoulders tensed. The way her hands clenched at her sides. I started walking toward them.
Fast.
And just as I got close enough to hear, "You shouldn't get too comfortable," my MIL was saying.
Her voice was low.
Cold. "This isn't really your family." I stopped. Everything inside me went silent. No noise. No music. No voices. Just that sentence, echoing in my head. Lily didn't respond. She just stood there. Eyes wide. Lips pressed together like she was trying not to cry. That was it. That was the moment. The line. Get away from her. My voice didn't even sound like mine. It was calm.
Too calm.
My MIL straightened slowly, turning to look at me. "Oh, please," she scoffed. "She needs to hear the truth sooner or later." I stepped between them, physically placing myself in front of Lily. "You don't get to decide what she needs," I said, my voice shaking now. "You don't get to talk to her. You don't get to look at her. You don't get to exist anywhere near her." Her eyes narrowed. "You're overreacting." I laughed. A short, bitter sound. "Overreacting?" I repeated. "You tried to block her from walking down the aisle. You're whispering poison into her ear at her own mother's wedding, and I'm overreacting?" People were staring now. Whispers spreading. The perfect image she cared so much about? Cracking. "Good. Stay away from my daughter," I said, each word deliberate. "Or you will not be part of our lives. At all." For a second she looked stunned. Like she wasn't used to being challenged. Like she genuinely believed she had the right. But then her expression hardened again. Cold. Dismissive.
"Fine," she said.
"We'll see how long that lasts." She walked away.
Just like that.
And the wedding continued. On the surface, everything looked beautiful.
People laughed, danced,
celebrated. And if you looked from the outside, you'd think it was perfect. But underneath, something had changed. Something permanent. Because that day, I didn't just marry James. I realized something far more important. This woman would never stop. And sooner or later, I was going to have to make sure she did. After the wedding, things went quiet. Too quiet. At first, I thought maybe, just maybe, she got the message. Maybe being publicly shut down, embarrassed, called out. Maybe that finally put her in her place. But I underestimated her. Because she didn't come back louder. She came back colder. A few months later, I gave birth to our twins. 2 beautiful baby girls. And for a moment, everything felt complete. Our little family had grown. Lily was thrilled. She took her role as big sister seriously, helping with bottles, gently rocking them, always checking if they were okay. I remember one night, she whispered to me, "I'm gonna be the best big sister ever." And she was. That's when my MIL reappeared. At first, it seemed normal. She came to visit the babies, brought gifts,
clothes, toys, held them,
smiled, took pictures. But something felt off. Subtle. Uncomfortable. It took a few visits before I fully saw it. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. She didn't ignore Lily completely. That would have been easier to call out. No, she did something worse. She treated her like background noise. She'd walk in. "Where are my girls?" she'd say, heading straight for the twins. Not, "How are you all?" Not, "Hi, Lily." Just straight past her. Lily would sit there, waiting,
hoping,
watching. And when she did acknowledge her, it was forced, quick, empty. "Hi," she'd say without even making eye contact. Then right back to the babies. One time, Lily tried to show her drawing, something she worked on for hours. She walked up, smiling, holding it out carefully like it was something fragile.
"Look,
I made this." And my MIL barely glanced at it. "That's nice," she muttered, already turning away. I watched Lily's face fall. That tiny flicker again. That quiet hurt she tried so hard to hide. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was deliberate. She wasn't just excluding Lily. She was erasing her. Slowly. Quietly. Intentionally. I brought it up to James.
Of course I did.
"She's doing it again," I said one night after the house was finally quiet. James sighed, rubbing his face. I know. That surprised me. You know. I've seen it, he admitted. The way she treats the twins versus Lily, it's not okay. Not okay, I repeated, my voice rising. She's acting like Lily doesn't exist. He looked torn, frustrated, angry, but also tired. I'll talk to her, he said. And he did. But it didn't change anything. If anything, she just got better at hiding it. More subtle, more careful. Enough to avoid confrontation. Not enough to stop hurting Lily. And the worst part? Lily noticed. Of course she did. Kids always do. She stopped trying as hard. Stopped showing her things. Stopped sitting near her when she visited. But every now and then, I'd catch her looking, watching her interact with the twins. That same question in her eyes. Why not me? And that question? It broke something inside me. Because no child should ever have to wonder why they're not enough. And I realized something. I had been patient. I had been respectful. I had tried to keep the peace. But peace was costing my daughter her self-worth. And that was not negotiable. So I stopped waiting. The final straw came on Lily's 11th birthday. She was so excited. Weeks of planning, picking decorations, choosing the cake, writing a list of people she wanted there. And then she told me something that surprised me. I want everyone to give a speech. I blinked. Everyone. She nodded eagerly. Yeah, like say something nice, or funny, or a memory. I think it'll be cool. I smiled. Okay, I said. We can do that. And that's when I made a decision. A quiet one, but a firm one. Everyone would speak. Everyone, except her. The day of Lily's birthday party arrived, and for once, everything felt light, happy, safe. There were balloons everywhere, laughter filling the house, kids running around, sugar-fueled and loud. And Lily? She was glowing. I watched her from across the room, smiling as she laughed with her friends, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Because this day, this was hers. And no one was going to take that away from her. Maya Miles showed up, of course, right on time, dressed like she was attending some high society event instead of a kid's birthday party. And immediately I saw it. That look. Scanning the room, calculating, waiting to be noticed. But this time, I didn't give her that satisfaction. The party went on. Cake was cut. Gifts were opened. Music played. And then, it was time. Okay, everyone, Lily called out, standing in the center of the room, her voice filled with excitement. It's speech time. People gathered around, smiling, supportive. One by one they spoke. Her friends said sweet, silly things. My parents shared heartfelt memories. James went last. And his speech? It broke me. He walked up, looked straight at Lily and said, I didn't meet you the day you were born, but if I had the choice, I would have chosen you anyway. Silence. You made me a dad before I even knew what that meant, he continued. And I will spend the rest of my life being grateful for that. Lily was crying now, not sad tears, the kind that come from feeling chosen. Loved. Seen. And in that moment, everything we had built as a family felt real, unshakable. But not everyone felt that way. Because the second the speeches ended, I felt it. That shift in energy. I turned, and there she was. Furious. Maya Miles stood there, arms crossed, face tight with barely contained anger. She didn't wait, didn't hold back. She walked straight up to us. Why wasn't I included? She demanded. The room went quiet. Of course she noticed. Of course she cared. Because for her, this was never about Lily. It was about attention, control, being the center of everything. James looked confused for a second, but I didn't. I had been waiting for this. I stepped forward. Calm, steady. What do you mean? I asked. Her eyes narrowed. The speeches. Everyone spoke except me. I tilted my head slightly, and then I said the one thing I had been holding on to for months. What happened to never supporting Lily? Silence. You could feel the shift. Her expression changed instantly, from anger to shock. She started. But there was nothing she could say. Because she said it, out loud.
Clearly. Cruelly. And now?
Everyone knew. You made your position very clear, I continued, my voice still calm but cutting. So, I respected it. Her face flushed. You're twisting my words. No, I interrupted. I'm remembering them. A few people in the room exchanged glances. Whispers starting. That perfect image she worked so hard to maintain?
Gone.
This is ridiculous, she snapped, her voice rising. I am his mother. And she is my daughter. I shot back instantly. That hit harder. I saw it in her eyes. For once, she didn't have control. For once, she wasn't the one setting the rules. James stepped beside me, solid, unmoving. She's right, he said simply. That was it. That was the moment. Her last bit of leverage?
Gone.
She looked between us, waiting, hoping one of us would cave. We didn't. Unbelievable, she muttered. And then she left. No dramatic exit. No final speech. Just gone. And the party continued. Because for the first time, she wasn't the center of it. Later that night, after everything settled, James and I talked. Really talked. And we came to a decision. No more chances. No more excuses. No more maybe she'll change. We were done. We went no contact. When James told her, she finally said the truth. She admitted she never thought I was good enough, that he could have done better. That Lily was never someone she'd accept. And hearing that, it didn't hurt anymore. Because by then, we had already chosen our family. It's been weeks now. No calls. No visits. No tension.
And you know what?
We're peaceful. Lily is happy, laughing again, confident, safe. And that's how I know we made the right choice. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't yelling, isn't fighting. It's removing someone's access to hurt you completely. Some people think blood makes you family, but it doesn't. Respect does. Love does. Choice does. And if someone refuses to give that, then they don't deserve a place in your life. If this story hit you even a little, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what would you have done in this situation? And if you love stories where karma actually delivers, make sure you subscribe, because trust me, there are a lot more stories like this coming.